it's sold out today at Disneyland, both for single day tickets and Magic Keys. Join me as we take a complete tour around the park to see what that's like for real. We'll even use that park science to sneak in a ride. This is our State of Disneyland report. This is Fresh Baked. Man, how about that scene on Main Street right now? I don't know if it's going to get any worse or better in the rest of the park than what we're seeing, but that looked pretty bad right now on Main Street. Let's not waste any time. Let's get down Main Street and get a vibe check. All right, let's get started. Things do look a little more hectic out there still on Main Street. And thank you guys for joining us on this State of Disneyland report. I am your host, David, and I will be taking you on an hour-long plus journey through the entire park. It's going to be the most informative, most fun hour you're going to spend watching Disney content on YouTube. We're going to go to every land and every attraction. That's what our State of Disneyland report is. We're going to update you on everything that's happening around the park. We're going to talk about news. We're going to talk about what we see in the queues, do a little park science, do a little queue math, enjoy the sights and sounds, experience Disney in the way that Fresh Baked can bring it to you. And that starts with Main Street. That's Main Street on a Monday afternoon at 1:50. It's about 81 degrees out. It's a little toasty, and look, yeah, there it is. There they are again. Okay, so the film crew was gone for a little bit, and now they're back on Main Street. They just did the cavalcade, but now this is what we just saw a little earlier, but it's a different setup. They may be going back to one as they do. Maybe they're doing a second take, because this is where we watched them film a little bit earlier. And this is making Main Street seem a little worse than it is, I think. Okay, there we go. They make it difficult. There we go, there's that film crew out there. I can't tell if it's the same shop. Anyway, we'll keep our heads going forward. Yeah, so once we get past that film crew, which will be, hi guys, heading down Main Street again, I'm sure. Things look a little bit more normal, but actually still quite busy. There is definitely a sort of a compression of guests here, more so than we've seen in previous weeks. We'll talk about what kind of day is ahead of us when we get to the reservation counter. As a matter of fact, let's do that now. Let's head back up to Town Square, the Disneyland Railroad Station, and take a look at that reservation calendar, because it's going to inform us on what to expect for the rest of this afternoon. We'll start with a single day ticket calendar, and my goodness, my eyes did not quite believe what I was seeing here when I first looked at this calendar, but yes, that is in fact a slash through today. Today is August 4th, and that is a slash through this Monday. They are sold out for today. When is the last time we've seen any sold out dates on the calendar? I mean, it is a today, everything else is wide open, but I can't remember the last time we've seen a sold out date. Got to be since at least the beginning of the 70th, maybe even before that. You cannot walk into the park today and buy a ticket, a single day ticket. Now, obviously that means that it's going to be the same for the Inspire key for Magic Keys, and that is in fact the case. Today is sold out, no single day or no same day reservations. You can though get a reservation for tomorrow and for the rest of the month, although there are some dates that are DCA only. But that does suggest that Disney again has sort of opened things up a little bit more to Magic Key holders. More dates are being made available to Magic Key holders, and maybe that's why there's some single day tickets not available. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Because, for example, Enchant Keys are open today. Enchant Keys are eligible to reserve for today and for most of August. As we mentioned in our last update, the dates that are sold out are basically, are blocked out, I should say, are the Saturdays, and that's it. Anything else on the Enchant Key calendar right now is just either sold out or the blackout dates are Saturdays. So that tells me, again, like we observed last time, that I do think they're increasing the bucket size for Magic Keys, and that's possibly affecting single day tickets. Gosh, wouldn't that be a story? Wouldn't that be a story if that were the case? They've actually done the opposite of what we observed them doing since they've started this whole Magic Key program. So on the one hand, by the way, the fact that there's no tickets available today, same day, suggests that we should be finding a busy park out there. As we mentioned, walking down Main Street for the vibe check, that things look pretty hectic out there. We'll see though. We'll see how it looks like in the rest of the park as we start in Adventureland. Matter of fact, let's get going. Let's get back into the park. Let's go. Let's get back to work. And so the table is set. for the rest of our, oh, thank you, for the rest of our afternoon. And then, by the way, these crowds, this is a little bit more intense than what we normally see, although we are about 2 hours later than we typically start for a state report. But still only marginally busier than what our normal day would be. I mean, that Main Street, again, that didn't look exactly chill, but a lot of that has to do with the film crew, and then probably there's, why am I blanking? Not the parade, the other thing, the cavalcade on the Main Street. There were people camped out for that as well, and sort of the wake of that. But I'm expecting to see at least a moderately busy today, moderately busy, times in the 40s and 50s, the occasional 60. But we'll see. Let's get to Adventureland. Let's start this report. Let's get into Adventureland and see what we've got at Jungle Cruise and Indiana Jones. Oh my goodness. I almost feel like Fantasmic just let out. That is a very dense crowd coming out of Adventureland right, and this is making me nervous. This is making me really nervous. What are we in for today? It is one of the, as we mentioned in the reservation calendar, it's a lower-ish. It's a tier 4, I want to say. It's 180 today, I think it was. Yeah, tier 4, 180. Same situation that we saw 2 weeks ago in our last State of Disneyland report, but I have to say, the beginning of this report does seem more busy than it was 2 weeks ago. And that could be the presence of Enchant keys and Imagine keys. That could be what this is. This is that difference. People ask, David, do you get a lighter crowd when Enchant and Believe keys are sold out? The answer is yes. For the most part, yes. So they're not selling, I mean, it looks like they did sell a little more single day tickets than normal because it's sold out. But a lot of this is going to be Enchant and Believe. Look at this queue right now that has appeared for us at Jungle Cruise. The top deck on the left is full, nothing on the right, but the queue, the standby queue is out. Well, it's all standby. 30 minutes posted, but it's out. It's coming all the way down to Indy. Coming all the way to Indy. Don't be scared though. There's no such thing as a no-go at Jungle Cruise, even though that looks bad. That's still a go. But it's not helping that Indiana Jones looks closed. So what you're probably getting here is a situation where people are arriving thinking they're going to go on Indiana Jones because they haven't checked the tip board. They haven't looked to see if it's open or not when they made the decision to come down here. And they're going, OMG, it's not open. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to get into the Jungle Cruise queue. A good working strategy when you're at Disneyland, it's a good thing to sort of keep in the back of your mind, keep in the back of your head, is that whenever you encounter an attraction, especially a big one that is closed, Indiana Jones, Space Mountain, Big Thunder, the Matterhorn, anytime one of those is down, maybe less so Rise of the Resistance, but the big ones, Haunted Mansion, although that doesn't go down very often. The guests that were planning to go into that attraction have to be somewhere else. They don't just, they're no longer in that queue, so where else are they going to be? But probably, most likely, in the attraction closest to it, or the closest desirable attraction there is to that. So when Indiana goes down, more likely you're going to see more action than usual at Jungle Cruise, and you're going to see more action than usual at Pirates of the Caribbean. Speaking of which, let's head in that direction next, where I can see a crowd up on the bridge. We're going to find ourselves some kind of scene up there. There's a crowd on the bridge, and when you see that, that's usually a sign that it's at least moderately busy. It's been a minute since we've even seen one of those, although I think it was 2 weeks ago, but it was only a 15-minute wait when we checked it. And look at that, they're calling it 40. Let's find, that's the back of the queue right here. They've got 2 switchbacks, but nothing in wild space, that's good. They're using these 2 switchbacks, they're calling it 40. There's no chance that it is though. No chance that it is because, well look, first of all, this is great, this is fine. This is what, the standby only queue is doing its job right now. Even though they're calling it 40, it is not. They have not crossed the street. They're not heading into New Orleans Square over by Tiana's palace or towards the Haunted Mansion. This queue is being unoccupied. They're calling that 40, that's insanity. That's 20. It's half that. It'll take them, let's see, we'll do the math real quick. 8 minutes to go in there, maybe 7 or 8 minutes out here, and then 5 inside. That's 20 minutes. And if you ever want to see some kind of visual proof of that, what I'm talking about, just come walk by the queue out here and look at all those people moving. People are not parked. They are for a minute, but for the most part, you'll see constant movement throughout the queue. Right side has got a really swift flow to it right now. They're going left and right. Left side is also standby. That's a little more parked. That one's a little bit more parked. They'll probably try to fit guests into the side of the house. People have been asking me about these scanners right here. I don't think that that's Lightning Lane. You know what? There aren't any now. There were guests going through there, hitting their magic bands on there, but as I understand it, that's going to be, well, it's either going to be like VIP, like club, because they get issued Lightning Lanes, and I think they can use it for this attraction, or DAS Pass users. But they were using their magic band, and it was, well, I mean, you get everybody in your group that gets to go in. I think it's up to 4 people, I guess, so maybe that's what that is. But Pirates of the Caribbean is still definitely not on Lightning Lane. I just checked the app, and it just says standby only. So that if you're the scanners that are still here are here only to scan either VIP or DAS Pass guests. You'll notice if it were Lightning Lane right now, there would be a steady stream of guests going in there, but there hasn't been anybody since I pointed the camera down in that direction. Here comes a couple. But yeah, it'll be just those guests. But for grins, I'm going to take this show back into Royal Street. We usually go straight to Tiana's, but I just want to see how the crowds feel back here. When it gets a little more intense, it gets intense everywhere. This is kind of chill. Not too bad. So what do we got? We've got a busier than usual Jungle Cruise. Indiana Jones is closed, standard. Pirates of the Caribbean is posted 40, but more like 20, if that even. And it's kind of mellow back here. I mean, it's a little hectic. I'm calling this a yellow day so far. The important thing to remember when we talk about crowd levels, because people will see this, they'll see this in the video like, no, that's not for me. No chance, that's way too busy. This is actually light-ish. I mean, if you remember things pre-COVID, I've had this conversation often, but if you remember things pre-COVID, this place was bonkers most of the time. Most of the time it was busy, very, very busy. But things have changed dramatically since 2021-ish, you know? In fact, we will go check Tiana's now. It is 2:05 as we approach. So it's a little bit after the lunch rush. We should see some open tables, and we do. There's some tables right there. And I'm expecting just one side being occupied inside, one side of the buffeteria style food service. In fact, that is the case. Left side is closed, right side is open, but this is still light. This is probably 10 or 15 minutes right here. Busy-ish, but definitely manageable. This is still a go for me this day. There is, though, something you don't see very often. Only on the busiest of days is a queue for the New Orleans Square Station at the Disneyland Railroad to come down the steps. You don't typically see the queue come down the steps. That's probably a no-go for me if I'm trying to ride the train right now. I might look for a train at Main Street perhaps instead. But this is probably the second station. Main Street first, New Orleans Square second in terms of which one you should get on, because a lot of guests do deboard here, and that's what you're looking for, is guests getting off the train. Let's go check Haunted Mansion next, right next door. Last week we'll be doing this, I think, for State of Disneyland reported it's going to be closing in a couple days for the installation of the
icon.
Halloween overlay, the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, posted 40. I don't see anybody around here, and it looks like they're not even sending them into Leota's Garden. These standby guests are just making a U-turn right there just before you hit Leota's Garden. So that's a light queue. It's posted 40. I don't believe you, Haunted Mansion. I don't believe you're 40 either, just like I didn't believe Pirates is 40. This is probably closer to 25 or 30. Haunted Mansion can be difficult sometimes to sort of gauge whether or not you're in an ideal situation separate from just the back of the standby queue. You gotta look at Lightning Lane also, but it's a little bit more mysterious. You have to look through the standby queue in order to see the Lightning Lane queue. These guests coming right by me, right in front of me there, those are Lightning Lane guests. That queue wraps around the outside of things, so they scan in over there, but it's this section right here where you don't want to be seeing them is on the other side of that standby queue. That queue that you're seeing coming this direction in front of the mansion is the standby queue, and then the queue inside of that, next to the pet cemetery, is Lightning Lane, and that seems to be moving pretty good. So that's a pretty good indicator that standby here is probably going to be pretty brisk, at least for the time being. Let's take a little detour today. Today is a day of detours, I guess, so far. I don't want to walk straight in front of Tiana's. I want to go down the secret path here a little bit and take a little breather. Cookies here are still quite popular. These cookies are delicious, and I can smell them cooking at least twice a week when I come through here for construction, etc. And man, you can smell right out. They're delicious. Oh, Mark Twain. Yay. What a beaut. She doesn't look very full. I do lament the fact that they've taken all of the growth out of this area. There used to be bushes and trees and stuff here. All the growth is gone. They splashed. It's kind of a light crowd, though, for the Mark Twain.
Built on Breuer salt and home to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. From here, you might spot guests making quite a splash at Princess Tiana's party. Head on over when you get the chance. We're almost there.
There used to be a lot more growth here too. And where they're trying to add growth at Ray's Berets, they are now running into difficulty once more. I thought they had it solved. I thought the grass was growing here. Ray's Berets is that building right there. In Bayou Country, this grass is new, but it's recently started to die again. This was bright green maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's starting to fade away a little bit, which is unfortunate. I'm rooting for them. I know it's difficult. I've said this in our construction report. It's difficult to get grass to grow. It's not supposed to grow here, but they're trying. But I really want it to happen. Hi, guys. Because I think it looks cool. It looks cool. The ferns, maybe they can just go back to ferns. Why can't they do that? I mean, is anybody going to care? I wouldn't care if they went back to ferns. I know they were supposed to be like carrots, because it was, God, I lost my briar patch, and it was supposed to be carrots growing out of the roof. I don't care if it's not. It's fine. I think it looks better with growth, even if it's ferns as opposed to grass. Make it ferns again. Posted 80 for Tiana's, and so it is 80 degrees out also. Posted 80 degrees, although the garden is not full, which is good. That's a good sign. You like to see that. I don't feel the intensity of guests that I normally do feel here. So that's probably a lightning lane situation happening, and that does reconcile with what I'm seeing with my eyeballs right now. That is a lot of people trying to fit their way into the lightning lane entrance. When lightning lane is busy, you won't see a long queue at standby, but it'll still take an hour and 20 minutes because they're all just going to stand there and wait. They're going to be posted there, leaning up against the rocks and sitting on the rails like those guests are doing right now. When you see people sitting on the fence, that means they're not moving. They haven't moved. It's been a while. It usually takes a couple minutes at least for somebody to decide to sit on the rail. So they've been there for at least 2 or 3 minutes without moving, possibly more. I have been motionless for 6, 7, 8 minutes sometimes in these queues. Posted 80, they got a switchback for oh my gosh, that's single rider. Look at all that single rider. That has got to be 40 guests right now, plus another 10 or 15 more inside the attraction because there's another queue, a secondary queue. Hi guys, how are you? Hi. There's a secondary queue at the boats for single riders, so you're looking at 50, 60 guests. I don't know what the math is, the standard weight, but I would call that 20 or 30 minutes at least. Meanwhile, standby is out here in both Section 1 and Section 2. These people are going to be in for it. And I've waited in that queue. I have waited in one just like this, one worse than this. We just did a video a few weeks ago. You probably saw it. I got into 3 worst queues that I could find. I got, whatever the highest wait time, I went and got in that standby queue. We did Rise of the Resistance, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and Space Mountain. And when they're diabolical, they are hell. They are hell. This one especially, this Tiana's queue was, even though the Space Mountain wound up being longer, I think, this one was the worst because you're so exposed. You're so exposed out here. There's so much sunlight out here that I can't recommend. You got to hit this one. Try to get here in the morning or in the late afternoon, early evening, and then after that even. Man, middle of the day like this is just hell. Let's stop in a Critter Club real quick. Just to vibe out. I love it in here. Not too bad. We do something like this over at DCA when we go through the Marvel Vault, the Avengers Vault gift shop, just to see how difficult it is to cruise through the shop. And this is going fairly okay, but it is busy in here. Wow, it's getting busier. How much fun is this gift shop, am I right? How much fun is that? If you were to stop right now, which of these treats would you be getting? Oh, that looks new. Winnie the Pooh marshmallow one. I don't think I've seen one of those before. That is new. Do you guys remember when they had the things where you could like fill up a bag of various candies? I missed that. They were Jelly Bellies. Jelly Bellies is still a thing, right? Right? It's cute, isn't it? Let's see how Pooh Sticks River's doing. The water is flowing. That's good. Come on, sunshine, catch up. There we go. Water is flowing. You like to see that. This place is definitely improved. It's more delightful when that waterfall is working and pushing water through, just like we aren't seeing at Redwood Creek. We are seeing it here today. Get yourself a stick and a friend. Throw your sticks over the bridge and have a race. See who gets to the other end first. It's the simple things for me. Simple things like that that make me happy. Winnie the Pooh, this attraction. I love this queue. I love that attraction. I love Bayou Country. It's great. And that single rider queue has not slowed down at all. Wow. And you got a lot of loiterers right here. You'll see this around a popular attraction like this. People waiting for their return time to come up. I just look back. It says 75 minutes now. It's gone down 5 minutes since we've been here. It looks about the same as we left it. This is just a no. You really need good timing for Tiana's, and this just is not it. It is often the case where I'll say, like, you don't really have a choice. If it's busy, if the park is super busy and you see a 75-minute wait time, it's not like you can go to the next attraction sometimes. I say this sometimes, and find a better deal. This is not one of those days. This is one of those days where I would say no to that. Tiana's right now at 75 minutes, and the queue that I'm seeing is a no. You can come back in a couple of hours. It is 2:30 right now. It's 2:30. Come back at 5, 6 o'clock or something like that. Come back at dinner time. Come back at dinner time, or when there's supposed to be a show happening. We don't have a daytime parade right now, but try, when that time comes, make that choice. Because this is not it. And you will find a better deal than that later on today. Now is the time when you should be doing things like the Mark Twain and Tom Sawyer Island, the train, dark rides in Fantasyland, the Columbia, doing that, or having a late lunch, having a 2 o'clock lunch. That's a really good idea right now. By the way, I mentioned that Enchant Keys and Magic Keys are eligible to make reservations now in August. So that's contributing to the amount of people that are in the park right now. I didn't mention when we talked about that, or when we're on the train station doing our reservation calendar review. Magic Keys are sold out. They have, they're paused. They're not sold out. I don't even know what the number is, but they've paused. All keys are now off the table right now. Nobody can buy a Magic Key. It is renewals only. I don't know for how long that will be. I don't know if that's, because there's just no telling. Disney just decides. It's like a faucet. They turn it on, they turn it off, and there's no visible or obvious indicator of when they decide they want to, open them up or close them down. We can make guesses. We could say, well, maybe they're going to wait until the new year. because this is the season. I think they kind of did something like this last year. This is the season as we head into the holidays, the Halloween season and the Christmas season. Demand is going to be super high, right? So they want to try to sell those keys when demand is lower, which is kind of the opposite. But they use those magic keys as like incentives to pull people in. They're trying to draw people in when they sell those, but they don't have it. There's no shortage of demand right now for the Halloween season and for the Christmas season, so they'll just put them on pause. Fascinating, really, the ebb and flow of the magic keys here at Disneyland. And that is a fairly busy queue for rides as we approach or have arrived at Galaxy's Edge. Nothing in Section 4 there. Section 3 is kind of light, and it does look a little slow and sticky in there. Matter of fact, people are dropping out. They don't like the way things are going. And I do see a lot of people sitting on the rails again. You don't like to see that. They are not moving. Something is awry here. I don't like the looks of that. Not at all. I don't like the looks of people leaving the queue. I don't like the looks of people sitting on the rails. Is the attraction even open? I see somebody posted out here. It is closed. Yes, they are not letting people in. The attraction is in fact closed. The queue people, they're not kicking them out of the queue, but it is closed. Oh, there you go. There's a banner right there, the no-go. Okay, this is a very important conversation we're gonna have right now, you guys. This is gonna be a very important conversation. When you see guests still in the queue, even though the attraction is closed, that's something to remember if you're trying to rope drop a breakdown. It is often believed that after rides breaks down, if you get here after a breakdown, if you stand here and wait for them to reopen, you're gonna get this huge discount. Maybe, but you could also just as likely encounter a situation where people don't get out of the queue. They stay in the queue, so you're not safe. Matter of fact, it's gonna be worse. It'll be worse than if you arrived at a normal point in time, because not only are you gonna be up against those guests that are already in the queue, you're not going to save any time because they're still in the queue, they haven't gotten out, but you're also gonna be dealt with or having to deal with a rush for Lightning Lane. Those guests who have purchased Lightning Lane are also going to rush this attraction when it reopens, and they're gonna get priority, which means you're gonna have to wait longer. So now, for those of you who are trying to stay in this queue, it's a two-part observation. If you're trying to stay in that queue, be mindful, pay attention to the music. Hi guys, how are you? Pay attention to the music and the lights. When the music turns off and the lights come on, the house lights, that's when you get out of the queue, because it's gonna be a minimum 45 minutes. I mean, unless you want to stay in there for 45 minutes, but otherwise, get out of that queue if the music comes off, or they turn the music off and the house lights come on. Even if you're all the way deep into the queue, it's very difficult to get out of there. Once you're like in the armory, it's kind of difficult to get out of there at that point, and I have waited in that queue for them to come back on. It's a minimum of 45 minutes typically for them to reboot the attraction when it's one of those situations where they have to do a hard reboot. And that hard reboot happens when the music comes off and the lights go on. Keep that in mind. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. I'm wowing because this is a very dense marketplace right now. Usually we could pass right through here. That's helping, that's part of it. Boba Fett is down there. But even still, this is more crowded than usual.
What's up with the new season, man?
I can't even walk through. Wow. And with that, we will check out the tip board here at Disneyland at 2:47 in the afternoon. Let's see, Alice in Wonderland, 35 minutes. That's pretty strong, you guys. Anytime you see Alice over 30, 35 like that, you know you got a pretty decent day. Astro Orbiter, 30, that's kind of standard. Autopia, 15. When I first arrived here, I didn't show it on the tip board, but I just checked it, I glanced at it. When I first arrived here at the park at 1:15, it was 55 minutes. Autopia was 55. not 15, 55. 1 hour return time with Lightning Lane. I think they're selling Lightning Lane today. Big Thunder is just shy of an hour, and that's a 3-hour return time. That's more than usual. It's a Lightning Lane day today. Buzz Lightyear, 35. Return time of an hour and a half, you guys. Wow. 35 is pretty standard, but an hour and a half return time. That's Chippendales, 45 minutes. Let's see, Dumbo 25, standard. I like to see, actually 25 is pretty good. Nemo at 40, that's busy. Haunted Mansion, so they took it down. When I went by there, they still had it at 40. It was at 40 when we went by. I was thinking 50. So it's still 40, but it's not. It's probably closer to 25 or 30 when we went by anyway. Indiana Jones is back open, but they've sold out. You know, that happens. One of the reasons that I think I've decided or determined, you know, we're working on a video on how to stack lightning lanes. And there was, you know, and I do a lot of lightning lane strategy videos, where I have done a few, I should say. And there was some debate, some discussion about how do you work in Indiana Jones. It's a very singular attraction, Indiana Jones is, in terms of lightning lane, and how it's, I've been on record as saying don't use it at all. Just rope drop it. Or 9 o'clock. But I've changed my tune on that a lot, because one of the key strategies for Indiana Jones is to get it just so you can get an MEP. The goal is to just get it so you're guaranteed an MEP, so that you can use it on any attraction, even though you really shouldn't be using it on Indiana Jones, but because it's hardly any benefit, there's hardly any value to it, because you're going to wait. The only weight you're saving is what you're saving outside, which is at most going to be 20, 25 minutes. Anyway, but do still get that Indiana Jones lightning lane just so you can get an ABP. So that could be why those sell out faster than any other attraction in the park, and that happens every single day. Small World, 40, strong. And a return time of a half an hour. Jungle Cruise is back down to 20. It was 30 before, yeah, 30. Let's see, Mad Tea Party 5, Winnie the Pooh's 30, nah, no chance. Matterhorn 55, Matterhorn is back. It was closed last time we came through here for a State of Disneyland report. It is back open, and we're gonna get to see what that looks like now. But that's almost a 6-hour return time. That's pretty strong, even for Matterhorn. That's a busy day. Runaway Railway is closed. Right now its return time is for 3 hours. And then we'll see what happens when we get there, if it's still closed when we get there. Smuggler's Run, 45, I have no idea. No idea if that's real. 3-hour return time though, that's pretty strong. Oh my gosh. Toad's 20, Peter Pan 40 standard, Pinocchio 30 standard. Well, actually it's probably less than that, but let's see. Pirates 30, it's not. You notice, see there again? There's no lightning lane on there. It looks like there is when you go through the queue. It looks like there is, but there's not. Roger Rabbit at, did I just see that change as we were looking at this? It went from 65 to 55, although normally you have to, it'll refresh for you to see that. Maybe I was just high. That's a 2.5 hour return time. Snow White 20, Space Mountain Standard, 60 minutes, and a 7-hour return time. Busy day. Star Wars is closed still. We just walked by that. And Tiana's is now up to 90. That's Lightning Lane. Lightning Lane is doing that. Look at that. When you see it going for 6 hours into the future, you know you're up against it. This is the day that Standby is going to be doing. We're having a lot of competition with Lightning Lane. There you go. That's it. Take care. And that is Galaxy's Edge. As we head back into the parks, a little more science. Posted standby still says 45 here for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
Everybody to the right, we got reservations in the middle. Come on for Honda.
Let's go check. Oh dear. Nope. Well, most likely a nope. We'll go put eyes on Lightning Lane Although I can kind of tell right there, you can see nobody there. That's a good sign. The fact that there's nobody there means there's nobody down there. Actually, I don't have to go all the way in this time. But the queue is going all the way. Oh, wow, maybe I am. I want to peek down here. The queue's down here at the lower catwalks. Oh boy. No, this is a hard no. Oh my gosh, there's the back of the queue on the end of this ramp. It's all up there? No. That is almost pure standby, which is concerning, interesting, because the return time for this attraction around Lightning Lane was deep. We're seeing a lot of Lightning Lane sales going out there, but it's not happening right now, which tells me that they're probably going to be here later. You know what I mean? Even though it's not, you're getting a break right now, you're probably not going to keep getting that break, and they will show up, especially if they're having a hard time getting into an attraction. Man. Millennium Falcon is tough. That's a tough nut to crack, man, because, at least for me personally, I mean, I love Star Wars, right? I love Star Wars. I love the theming of those. There's a friggin' Millennium Falcon over here. That's a thing, and it's really grand. I think they did a marvelous job in building this attraction and putting you in a time and place. The Millennium Falcon right there. It's amazing. It's brilliant. I just don't like the attraction. I don't like the ride. Same thing with Web Slingers. It's great. I love Spider-Man, and it's kind of fun, and the pre-show is pretty good. I'm just not a fan of the attraction. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard to overcome that. As great as the attraction looks, it's just not very fun for me. Let's get through the rest of Galaxy. There's a lot of photo ops happening right now. My goodness. Getting back to that tip board. What we're seeing there, like I mentioned, is a lot of extended return times for Lightning Lane. It's a very busy day, so this is one of those days where I hope you've started using and sort of stacking your Lightning Lanes early. If you're getting here late and trying to use Lightning Lane, good luck. All of your return times are going to be 3 or 4 hours from now, and that's that's hard to do. Like you get in here, you put in your $30, and you're like, okay, now I have to wait 3 hours to use it. That's not ideal. Now, it's not like that every day, but that's an important distinction to make, a thing to remember when getting Lightning Lane at Disneyland. We say this often, better to start early if you can help it. No matter what your strategy is at Disneyland, no matter what your plan of action is, you're always improved by getting here sooner rather than later, unless the entirety of your plan is to just be chill. Just to kind of, just go with the flow and take the path of least resistance, which is a strategy that locals use often, especially Magic Key holders. Take the Mark Twain, go to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, maybe the train, get a churro, try out whatever the new food is, and not even worry about Lightning Lane attractions. That is obviously viable, but the conversation that I'm having is more about people who are coming once a year and they're trying to maximize their day. I get these comments a lot, actually, like, oh God, why is that fun? You're working too hard, you're trying too hard, all this effort to save time and this and that. Guys, there are people out there who only come once a year, and they are, or if less than that even, and you want them to just meander? And I used to believe that. Back in the day, when I first started doing this show, when I was just a vlogger, I would come and just like, oh look, where it is on. And I would say, don't be in a hurry. I would say that all the time. Don't be in a hurry, take your time. Don't worry about it. You guys are missing the magic and wonder. But I'm telling you, I can say that because I can come back tomorrow or next week or later on tonight. I can go home and rest and come back tonight in my bed. Most of the people in this park can't do that. And so I'm trying to help them. For those of you who have those comments, I'm trying to help the people who are here once a year, once every 2 years. They want to get the most out of their day. I hope that resonates. You absolutely can do Disneyland any way you want to do it, and if your way is to just be chill and meander, I am absolutely for that. Matter of fact, that's the way I like to do it, if I can help it. But that's typically a local's or pass holder's point of view. Oh no, this is bumming me out. Yeah, did you guys watch our construction report? I was like, oh God. I really don't like seeing those walls up there for Casey Jr. I know that it's probably not a big deal. It's fine, everything's fine, even though everything's on fire. It's fine. It's fine. But seeing construction walls like that up at Casey Jr. and later on when we get to Storybook Land, Man, that is just not a good look. And it's going to be a month, at least a month, probably 2, or possibly 2 before we see those things come down. What a drag. Maybe it's best I just don't talk about it. Avert my eyes. Don't even look at it. Don't think about it. Don't talk about it, even though I got to do this for the next 6 weeks with the construction report. But oh my gosh, look at, this isn't so bad right here. I cannot make up my mind what kind of day we're having here today. This is really perplexing. On the one hand, I want to say it's busy. It's sold out. The day is sold out for single day tickets. No same day reservations for Magic Keys. Lightning Lane is they're doing pretty brisk sales, but here we are in the middle of Fantasyland. There's no strollers out here. The walkway is pretty wide open. One of our measuring sticks to determine how busy it is. Oh, I hear the band. Do I hear the Pearly Band? There they are. And Bert and Mary. How delightful. Open horses, 4 of them right there. Another 4 right there. Actually, those 8 seats would also be open if it wasn't for the Pearly Band and Bert and Mary. Those seats would be open also. How wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I guess we're over here. We'll start with Mr. Toad. That's pretty normal right there. That's about 20 minutes, maybe 25. I love Fantasyland. If I had to pick one land to spend my whole day in, I think this would be it. This or Main Street. Peter Pan, it looks pretty full to the brim. There's no space anywhere. They're using the maximum. As a matter of fact, they've even extended it out here with the white rope. That is an emergency queue out here, so they're bursting. This is its max. It was posted 40, and it's going to be all of that. It's probably more than 40 at this point. It might be 40 from where that sign is, where the actual sign is, but this is beyond that. That is very busy, very full. That is a come back another time, no-go situation for me on Peter Pan. Alice, oh wow, yeah, see now, that's what I mean. I can't, everything is just, it's volatile. It's like I can't make it, it has come out here into the common area, which is usually indicative of a busy day. But then look, what's happening? Everybody's in a queue. Wow. Okay, one more stop here at Pinocchio, which we saw is at 30. And I don't know if I've ever seen an actual 30-minute wait at Pinocchio. This queue is long. They have put up the extended rope there, so that's a long queue, but that's not 30. That's still pretty brisk. I would get in that Toad's queue. I would get in the Pinocchio queue. I would get in the Snow White queue. I probably would not get into the Peter Pan queue. And I would wait for Bert and Mary here and the Pearly Band. Awesome, delightful. I don't know about Dumbo. It's back there. Let's just sneak a peek over here. You can see it a little bit in that extended area back there. It's not fully full. They're not using all of it, but they're using enough of it to make you, maybe second guess your decision. But that's probably just 25, 30 minutes. It goes a lot quicker than it looks. And then we're back with these scary looking walls again for Storybook Land. How do I avert my eyes for 6 weeks? Oh, yo. Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. Even Monstro's behind Scrim and Scaffold. They got scaffolding on the rocks. Hate to see it. Okay. Tea Party's fine. No problem here. Tea Party, easy. 2 rotations, maybe 10 minutes. Alice, I think we waited in this last week, right? That was pretty easy. It was out here in the 60, there was the extra queues out here, and it was still just like 25 minutes, I think. Easy, no big deal. Look at that, here comes some Matterhorn guests. Permanecer sentados, por favor. We will check in on this in a minute, but let's just see one bobsled come through. That'll be fun.
Remain seated, please.
Say it.
Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Thank you very much.
Real sad.
We'll check on that in a minute, but we got to go to Toontown and Small World first. Now, I think I'm going with busy. We're yellow/orange. I think that's what I'm going to set on. We're just seeing pockets of not busy, but most of it that's happening right now, most of it is busy, I think. It's not crazy. This is definitely still a manageable, goable day, but it's busy. Which again, I have to ask this question. Every time I see a sold out date for single day tickets, I have to ask the question, does that mean this is as busy as they want it? Because we've seen significantly busier days in the parks than this, right? Just 2 weeks ago, the 70th, it was bazonkers here. I waited an hour, more than an hour, I think it was, for Small World that day. You could buy a ticket. You could buy a same day ticket that day. What does that mean? Well, I mean, I know the answer, but I'm kind of asking you, and I'll give you my answer in a minute. But it means something. There's some sort of inference to be learned from that. The fact that today is significantly less crowded, visibly so, than it was that on the 70th, on July 17th. Today it's sold out, that day was not. What does that mean? Well, for me, what it means is that it has nothing to do with the actual attendance. It has nothing to do with the actual number of people in the park. They have not actually achieved any sort of destination, any sort of goal for that day. They simply decided they wanted it to be open more. That's it. So when we talk about, dates that are sold out, it's not because they are sold out. It's because they don't want to sell anymore. They have decided that they don't want to sell anymore, or they have decided that they want to sell more for whatever reason, because it's the day, I get it. I would want the 17th to be more available because lots of people want to come and see all the shows that day. And so there's good logical reason why they would do that. But what I want to observe is that it has nothing to do with any sort of mythical figure that they're trying to get to. They can just decide. And by the way, that is, I had contemplated possibly getting into the Small World queue today, but I'm not gonna, because that's 2/3 full right there. You're looking at 40 minutes. The only thing they're not using are these outer switchbacks right here, and that's it. And I did wait in all this. I waited back to here, I think it was, on the 17th, and it took over an hour. So you're saving maybe 20 minutes there, is my guess. And with that, I'm curious. I want to see, hi guys. Hi. I want to see how things are doing over here at that Pixar Pals Playtime party. We don't usually check in on this, but I think I would like to see how well attended this is, because this is going to be going on through next summer. Not a temporary show. This is a full-time show for a while. Now I want a potato. Should I get a potato? Should I get the wed chili cheese baked potato for $12? or the chicken pot pie baked potato, or the troubadour baked potato. Wow, I'm tempted. They have a photo booth out here. Huh. I don't remember ever seeing that before. We've got an arrangement of guests in a queue for something. What are they waiting for? That's for the train. What's for the train? No way. No way. Okay, anytime you see the train come out to the threshold right here, that's usually not a good sign. Normally, the queue goes down this way. But they have somehow, they need to get a cast member out here because the queue is going back this way. That's crazy. That's so disorganized. We need to get a cast member out here. They're building their own queue. All right, let's go see what's up. Wow, that is pretty well attended, you guys. That is a good amount of guests out here. Wow. Oh, Bo Peep is here. I was not expecting to even see it be it this busy. That's kind of impressive. This is actually a pretty good show. It's pretty fun. The hosts, the dance hosts or whatever, they're really energetic. They put on a good show. It's different. It's not the usual stuff like you see at Tomorrowland Terrace or Galactic Grill. That show is usually kind of, I don't know, low energy. But these guys, these are really good hosts, and then they bring out the characters when they bring out sadness to dance with them. It's pretty hilarious. That's actually a fairly entertaining stage show they do there. And there you go. They have actually brought out Sadness. There she is. She's doing her thing. I don't know why that makes me crack up. I feel like that's totally adorable, especially when they highlight her. But this is fun, don't you think? Look at her. Look at her. Oh, we missed it. She was doing a bit. And by the way, I did stop for the potato. I got the just the basic Troubadour Tavern loaded baked potato. I do love a loaded baked. I'm not going to be able to taste test this very well because I don't have a table, so I'm just sitting here holding it. I got to do this one-handed, but cheers, Fresh Bake. Look at that! Wow. Yeah. Needs a little more sour cream now. That's pretty good. Very short review because it's pretty standard. Troubadour Tavern, baked potato, 4 out of 5. Well, that was a fun interlude, and look at that. They have, in fact, fixed the Disneyland Railroad queue. By the way, that is an absolute no-go for the Toontown station. Very few people, it has been my experience, deboard at the Toontown station, so you don't want to be getting on here because, well, not enough guests are deboarding, so that's why this queue gets backed up. They're going to get in there maybe 20 or 30 guests, I'm guessing. Not the ideal situation for the Disneyland Railroad. That's a no-go. Let's see if we can find some more no-goes in Toontown. I expect Roger Rabbit to be. Hopefully we get a better result at Runaway Railway. That was closed when we checked the tip board earlier. It looks busy in the streets, my goodness. That was difficult just getting in here. I see a queue sticking out of Runaway Railway. That's not a good look, but we'll go to Roger Rabbit first. Which looks close, yes. Man down. You got a door down, that means it's closed. There's no posted wait time, so this is not happening, which is probably why we're seeing a longer than usual queue at Runaway Railway. This goes towards that conversation we had earlier when Indiana Jones is closed. Where are those guests going to go that were in the Roger Rabbit queue? Well, obviously they're going to go to Runaway Railway next. They're not going to leave. They're here. They might as well do something while they're in the neighborhood. This is one of the most extreme examples of that theory, of that idea, that when a ride goes down, the other one doubles up. And that's exactly what's happening right now. That's the back of the queue as we pass by here at Runaway Railway. The door says 40 minutes. There's no chance that that is true. It's 45 to the door normally, under normal conditions. Then you've got this extra queue out here that's getting bigger and longer by the minute. That's an extra 10 or 15 minutes out here, these guests. Maybe not all that, maybe 10 minutes to get to the door. Go check out Gadgets, Chippendales. Oh my God, it's getting longer. It is, it's getting longer by the minute. The back of the queue now is back here somewhere. I feel like, yeah, it's right there. Wow. Okay, let's go check out Chippendale's Gadget Coaster first. And then when we come back, we'll see if that queue has gotten shorter or longer. I'm gonna say longer, but I also am gonna say that they're gonna move it. They're gonna, well no, they haven't even started. I walked by there, I did not see any stanchions put up for ropes. So they need to do some adjusting there. But it's possible that they can get those things put up and then move the queue into the stanchions, into the ropes next to Runaway Railway. We'll start with minis though. That says 10. Are you kidding? That's not 10. I feel like the dial's stuck because you can see it's a little bit tilted up there a little bit. That's a 30-minute queue for minis, but they've got it at 10. But it looks like they were trying to adjust it. Maybe they missed. I don't know.
Double check it.
There you go. It's happening right now. 30 minutes. 30 minutes. She's listening to my show. 30 minutes for Mickey's. I won't check on that. And then, let's see. 10, 15 for Gadgets? Yes, posted 15. And that's probably about right. This is actually kind of light. So the guests are all going to Runaway Railway, not to any of the other attractions. This right here, Chip, gosh, now I've forgotten. 20 minutes to Chip? 20, I think? But the back of the queue is way past that. The back of the queue is past the toothbrush into the little netting area there. So that's a very light queue. Very light for Gadget's coaster. Bad. I feel bad when something like that happens. Like, I'm not trying to put anybody on blast. I'm just saying that's not right. I know that it's very analog, and you know, it's not possible for them to be constantly on top of that thing. I understand. She did. She changed it to 30 minutes. But I'm not trying to put anybody. If you're listening, if you're watching, cast member whom I just interacted with, it's not a judgment. I'm just saying it's not correct. That's all. You got to use your eyes. I'm just saying. But that's not what I'm trying to do. But they are usually right on top of things. I try to call that out as often as possible whenever I see something, and then they fix it while I'm talking about it. That's good, and she did just that. As for Runaway Railway, they have not built any stanchions, but that was just a couple minutes ago, so I don't expect they would have done that. But they probably will soon. But it does look like they've moved the queue. Instead of going straight, this is good. See, instead of having it run down the middle of the street right here, they've pushed it to the left so that it's to the side, so guests have an easier time of getting into the queue. And they have posted the line starts here guy. And the queue did get a little longer. It's a little longer since we were here just a few minutes ago. So that's not a good situation. By the way, you know what? I should go check. I want to go check and see if they've adjusted the posted wait time now says 50. And I would say it's probably at least that, yeah. But still, I'd get in that queue. If I wanted to ride Runaway Railway and I'm already down here and I don't want to come back here later, I'm getting in that queue. Absolutely. I probably wouldn't get in the Roger Rabbit queue, which it looks like it just reopened. Yeah, look at it did. It just reopened. This is gonna take a lot of pressure off the Runaway Railway queue. I want to get in this. I want to see what happens. It's 4:03 as we enter. Everybody's like freaking out. We gotta get in, we gotta get in. Lightning Lane 2 though. Expect Lightning Lane to show up also. But let's see if people got out of the queue Did they dump the queue or did people stay in? But we're one of the first to get in. They just reopened it. They haven't even put the wait time up yet.
Stop wasting my time. If you don't know my password, you can This portion of the program is
Well, that did, in fact, go very well. We are in the dip room, which is about maybe 5 or 10 minutes from the vehicles. 4:14 as we arrive. It's been just over 10 minutes, which actually is kind of slow. We've been stuck. A lot of Lightning Lane have been coming in, so we have been parked there a little bit. But there you can see the back of the queue is already, it's only been 10 minutes, and the back of the queue is already approaching capacity right there.
Holy smokes, Roger!
danger. Warning. Warning.
There you go. Look at Lightning Lane is all stacked up, completely stacked up, and the back of the queue. I don't even, that's the back up there. It's outside of the brick wall there. It's almost to the threshold, and that happened in about 15 minutes. I was right here. I was right there at the fountain when it opened up, and I still waited 10 minutes because they did empty the queue. The queue was completely empty when they reopened it. I was right there. Hi, how are you? And I still waited 10 minutes, and it took just another 5 minutes after that for them to completely fill up the queue. So Roger Rabbit is one of those attractions where you cannot, when it reopens, you better be right next door. You can't be coming from Tomorrowland or Galaxy's Edge or something like that because it'll be too late. It'll say 15 or 20 or whatever on the board, but it's actually 45, 50. And then, as predicted, that's done wonders for the Runaway Railway queue. Well, I tell you, you're watching the right show, you guys. Seriously. That queue, it says 50. It's not. That's great for people who are trying to get on Runaway Railway right now. They're benefiting from the board saying 50, even though it isn't, so that's keeping people away. They're saying, oh, wow, I don't want to go there. That lane is way too long, but it's not. This is one of those do the opposite situations. And Runaway Railway is almost all the way into the prop room. So you're looking at maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes tops. Oh, that was fun. I wasn't rolling at the time, but I was exiting the queue, and this girl had a distressed look on her face. She's like, oh no, Dad, it says 50 minutes. She's like, oh gosh, should we get in there? It's 50. I'm like, no, get in there right now. You're good. And then somebody else went right behind that, said, no way is that 50, as he came in behind them. So we're educating, we're teaching, and people are actually learning too. So I love to see it. And finally, after how long? Months? We get to do a little queue science on Matterhorn. It is open once more, and I'm betting it's going to be bonkers a little bit. Matterhorn is, still a very popular, well-attended attraction. People were ready to get back on the Matterhorn in spite of the fact that it's a very rough and violent attraction. There you go, there she is. Welcome back. Posted wait time right there says 65 minutes. Looks like the back of the queue is left of tree. Left of tree, that's the tree right there. You guys see us talking about it in the last live stream. People were talking, I need to make a right of tree t-shirt. That's the tree right there. Usually if the queue is right of tree, you're in decent shape, but the queue is left of tree. They are not using tree lamp though, tree lamp. They're not using tree lamp, or maybe just a little bit of it, barely. So that's a pretty good look. That's 5 minutes right there. And then they're back out here, I'm sure, into at least extended 1 and extended 2. Let's see. They look very stationary. They look like they've got nowhere to go. Is that beyond extended 2? We're now in extended 2. That was just 1 that we passed. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. This is pretty the typical spot. It ends right here at the return for the bobsleds. They've got the queue ready. It was probably extended previously out here into these bonus sections. But if you can avoid this at least, that's not bad. 65? And that's what I mean, relatively speaking. For a posted 65-minute queue, that's not too bad. It's going to be less than that. It's probably going to be closer to 45, is my guess. But if you see a 65-minute queue and it's out here into these ropes right here, and they're also using tree lamp, or if it's coming out of the threshold into the common walkway, they're building their own queue type situation, or wild space, that's when you got to start thinking maybe it is 65. But if you can keep it inside of extended 1 and extended 2 and not leave a threshold, you're probably looking at about 45 minutes. Not much of a break here for Finding Nemo. Again, relatively speaking, that's looking like probably 40 minutes is my guess. At least that's what it would be posted. A lot of open chain there though, so it's not as bad as it could be. But yeah, the sign does say 40 minutes over there. I don't know, I might be inclined to get in that queue if I wanted to ride Finding Nemo. Your hand though, if you are among those who choose Finding Nemo. It would be much better if Nemo were easier to get on. It would be like a very nice emergency attraction, much like the dark rides are in Fantasyland, or the Mark Twain, or Jungle Cruise. It's like, when you're never sure what you should do, those are good attractions to get into because they're always going to be a discount or easy to get into. Nemo would be one of those attractions for me if it were just a little bit easier to get in and out of, if the queue moved a little bit more fluidly. Which brings us to Autopia, where it is a posted 20 minutes right there on the board. And that looks about right. I don't need to take much of a look at this. I can see the queue has not gone into the risers. That's good. It's just the one switch back in. You go to the rotunda, do your loop, and come back out. So that's pretty advantageous. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 lanes are working. And Lightning Lane is minimal. There's just that group of guests right there. There's 4, 6 guests in Lightning Lane right now. Autopia is that emergency attraction right now in Tomorrowland. My favorite part of the journey. Getting to hear that music as we make our way through Tomorrowland. Fantastic Four. Looks like as we round the corner, they are done for the day. Those meet and greets have chilled. Herbie is backstage. Everybody's done. But this is a really cool meet and greet. They did a great job with this, setting it up. They're having a dedicated situation like this rather than just posting them up somewhere. They built something. They built something kind of cool looking. I dig it. Very, hey, how are you? Very retro modern. Love it. As for Space Mountain, posted 70. That can't be good. Are we gonna get another one of those situations where the queue is out the door up there when we get to the extended queue up there? I mentioned earlier that we included this attraction in that video that we did, the 3 worst queues that you can get into at Disneyland. We found it. The Space Mountain was our third. And I really wanted to get into that queue because I see it so often when I come here to Space Mountain. I see these queues when they're out the door, or the whole thing, the whole extended queue, and then the interior is full. And I want to know how real that is. I want to know what the actual experience is like, and so that I can share that with you guys. And it was worse. It was worse than I had thought it would be. That was one of the most excruciating experiences that I think I may have ever had sitting in a queue. It did not go well. And it wasn't even as bad as this. The queue, the back of the queue was inside the door. Inside the extended queue there. Maybe even one empty switchback inside, if I recall. So this will be 70 minutes. Because that's what we did. We did 70 minutes. It was at least that, if I recall. So this will be more than 70. You are going to wait 70 minutes if you get in this queue right now. Just know that. And we've been seeing in past episodes that they've been using these switchbacks out here too, which makes it even more worse. That's 80, 85 minutes, 90 maybe. Maybe we'll drop down there and see what single rider looks like, if that's any kind of break. That's the thing about Space Mountain, man. There aren't really any discounts, kind of like Tiana's. Just rope drop it, man. And I mean, I'm talking about literally rope dropping. Don't get here early. Rope drop. You know what I mean? You've got to be here at 7:30 to get a decent shot at doing this attraction in like 15 minutes. But even then, because I've rope dropped it, where I've been in the, I got here at 7:40 or whatever, and I got into that rope drop queue, and because there's, especially if it's a early entry day for hotel guests. I mean, it doesn't take much for this thing to get brutally bad. I mean, we're talking half an hour. So they've stopped having you go down this way for single rider, probably because they're doing something for the 70th here, or perhaps they're getting ready for, I don't know what. Actually, I don't know what that's for now that I think about it. But the sign is telling you to go around now. It's still down there, but you're gonna go from here. This is different. It's still over there. Oh my, that is deep. Wow, single rider, you guys. Okay, so here's the entrance. So that's a good 60, 80 guests right there. You're gonna wait a little bit. I think I've timed this. I don't have the numbers on top of my head. I'll do a whole thing about it, but I'm gonna guess that's 20 minutes here. 20 minutes there, and then another 5 to 10 once you get, because there's a secondary queue. After you pass through this, threshold here, you turn that left and there's another queue down there. So you're another 5 or 10 minutes there, and then this is probably 20, 25 out here. Wow. I mean, obviously, it's better than 70 minutes. What we're doing up there, it's at least 70 up there right now. And again, I will tell you, Disney loves it if you're a group and you get in there. They want you to do it. Don't trip. Don't worry if you're not an actual single, that you're a group of 3 or 4. As long as you understand you're not going to ride together, they don't care. Because they're still maximizing the efficiency of the attraction by using single rider. I'm actually missing Star Tours. That needs to come back. It is coming back soon, but I mean, it's just not seeing the crowds out here are really tripping me out. So nothing to review there. Buzz Lightyear, 40 minutes on the board. Nothing happening here though in Lightning Lane, not much anyway, so that's good. Oh, there's a little bit of a backup here though, so there is still a presence. That's going to affect standby. That's probably why it is at 40. Because this is usually a pretty efficient attraction. They can cycle a lot of guests here, even with Lightning Lane. It moves pretty efficiently, but this is pretty healthy. That is a healthy standby queue. Astro Orbiter looks standard. That's a 30-minute queue. It's pretty much always that. You're looking for anything inside halfway through those switchbacks, but look at this. They're using this extended peninsula out here, and they're using all of it back there towards Pixie Hollow. So this is the most. This is the most you're going to see for Buzz Lightyear. They're using all of it. Still a really good emergency attraction as we talk about those. Buzz Lightyears usually, I mean, it goes so fast. It really does. Even if there's lightning lane, they can cycle so many guests, you know, with the Omnimover style like that. I dig it. It's great. Oh, here we go. Got a little omnibus for us as we make our way to our final destination, Frontierland. It's not often we get to see the omnibus or any vehicles out here when we close this show. But since we're a little later, there's no parades, there's no bands or anything like that, nothing happening on Main Street, so they can just run vehicles. This is actually later than usual. Usually they end of they did in the past, they would shut down the Main Street vehicles at like 3 o'clock. It is presently 4:44. So I love to see the Main Street vehicles out this late in the day. Love to see it. It's a great touch, a great move by Disney. Still waiting for Big Thunder to hit the refurb calendar. We keep talking about it, we keep waiting, we keep expecting it, but it hasn't happened yet. Looks pretty busy back there though. The extended queues are full. Although they're moving pretty good, they may have just expanded. They may have just opened those up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a 40-45 minute wait on the board. Look at that, they got it at 50. That's not a 50-minute queue. I'm happy to report that is not a 50-minute queue. That is closer to maybe even 40, because they're not using all of it. That 50 minutes would be if these switchbacks right here were full also. So that's good. That's it, guys. We did it. We got all the way around the park, did a complete tour of Disneyland, updating you guys on everything that's happening around every land and every attraction. Sold out day today. Sold out both for single day tickets and Magic Keys. And I feel like this is one of those things where they could have let more people in. They could have. It wasn't a full capacity day. It didn't feel like a full capacity. It was busy. It was busy, but it could have been much more busy. So I'm wondering what their strategy is here. What is that guideline? What is it that they're trying to achieve when they do this? Because it's been weeks, months even, since we've seen a day where you couldn't make a same-day reservation for either single-day tickets or Magic Keys. And I just don't feel like this day amounted to something it was busy. Like I said, it was busy, but there you go. That's our show today. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. We're gonna be at DCA next week. We've got lots more coming. By the way, stay tuned also for, I think we've got our last 2-hour DCA video coming up. And before you know it, we're gonna be back in Florida again for more coverage from Walt Disney World, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh bait.